Earlier this month, Cambodian officials indicated the country's long-awaited stock exchange could start operating in January of 2010. Now, despite risks and concerns about corruption and governance in Cambodia, our next guest says the country is wide open for investment. Let's find out why with Douglas Clayton, the managing partner and CEO of Leopard Capital. He joins me now here on the desk in Singapore. Thanks for coming in today, Doug. So just to put all of this in perspective, you are operating a private equity fund. It's closing next week.
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. And the minimum investment is $100,000. So what is it that you're seeing in Cambodia that makes you think this fund is going to do so well?
Cambodia has opportunities in every sector. It's been overlooked for about 30 years. Now it's becoming stable and investable, and we're seeing great opportunities to get very high returns with minimal competition.
Right. Some critics would say, look, it's still a very narrow economy with an immature market. How would you respond to that?
We have the opportunity to broaden it and normalize it like other Southeast Asian nations.
How much upside do you see?
Vast. It's like investing in Asia 30 years ago. If you could go back in your career and make investments, that's your chance in Cambodia to replay the last 30 years. So
you think this is an emerging market that really has, would you compare it to, say, Vietnam 10 years ago? In some ways, but it's more open than Vietnam, and there's different opportunities. It's a commodities-rich country that's untapped. What kind of commodities do they have? Agricultural, to start with, it's one of the best places to grow rice or rubber. There's also minerals and oil and gas. What kind of GDP numbers are we talking about on an annual basis? Well, it had 10% growth for 5 years in a row. Last year, it corrected with a global recession. But it's going to go through another high growth period, possibly starting next year or the year after. So this is a good chance to get in before that. Right. Okay. It's a very small economy, a narrow economy, as we've mentioned it. Corruption. I know that this is something that comes up repeatedly when it comes to investing in Cambodia, but obviously it's a valid point. Well, we can just say that we've been there for about 3 years and we haven't had any problems. So I think sometimes that's an overrated issue. The government's very welcoming of foreign investment. They allow foreigners to own 100% of businesses there in just about any sector. Okay, so which sectors do you think would be the best areas to go into? You will be doing this on behalf of your investors, obviously, so which sectors will you be targeting? We like agriculture, food processing, financial services, and consumer businesses. Okay, what about some of the defensives, telecoms? Telecoms as well. We've just done a $5 million investment in telecom deals. Okay, well, thank you very much for explaining your product to us and alerting investors to Cambodia. Not a lot of people invested in that market. Thank you very much. That was Douglas Clayton, the managing partner and chief executive of Leopard Capital, joining us here in Singapore.